Hey, what's up guys? It's Oakley, and I am joined by Indie Pride, and we're going to be doing a massive, ginormous Civil War battle between two Empire factions. The rules that we decided to do is no magic, no fantasy units. It's all going to be gunpowder. This is very much like an Empire battle you'll be seeing. So it's got all kinds of handgunner units, huge army sizes. So you'll be seeing 40 units. So like I said, lots of great cannons, Hellstorm rocket batteries, mortars, handgunners, pistoliers, outriders, and a limit of 2 steam tanks per army. And yeah, it is going to be epic. We're deployed here on both sides of this relatively open flatland, and it is going to be a carnage house.
Yep, and I'm Indie Pride, and so for this army that I have brought a ton of great cannons and Hellstorm rocket batteries that are going to be trying to outrange Oakley. I did invest more in my artillery pieces than Oakley did. He has more handgunners than I do, so he's going to be trying to cross this chasm in between us through withering gunfire and try to start shooting into my ranks, and I'm going to be trying to make sure that doesn't happen, taking out these columns of infantry as they approach. But we both do have 2 steam tanks. Those will be very important in this battle as well. I'm about ready to get into this. Do you want to press play? 3, 2, 1, press play, and get into it.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this battle is, well, like I said, or like Indy said, it's not a symmetrical battle. And so we brought different approaches, and my approach is going to be the way of the infantrymen. And when you take the way of the infantrymen and you match it up against the way of the artillerymen, well, then you're going to be seeing a lot of explosions and a lot of carnage. So I decided to bring up my troops in column formation because you can't win a battle if you're not looking fabulous, and you can't even call it a victory if you're not looking glorious in the process of winning. So that's what I'm doing. I'm moving up in column formation in the face of withering gunfire. And Indy's going to be taking full advantage of that. So I have multiple columns moving up into no man's land, just getting wrecked, especially this column
Guys
here.
on the left-hand side, the columns are just getting absolutely pooped on by the steam tanks and the great cannon artillery. So yeah, Oakley was trying to march in formation, make it a little bit more realistic looking, and they are going to get absolutely destroyed as they march up through this wooded pass right here. And in the center, my Hellstorm rocket batteries are on counter battery duty, so just trying to take out his cannons while his steam tank and his great cannons are going for my steam tank. So he wants to take that steam tank off the field as soon as possible and make them stop firing. It's a pretty good strategy, but it will take a lot of firepower to take down a steam tank.
Oh my god, I'm looking at my front ranks. They did get off one volley at your steam tank. So I'm pouring everything, both my steam tanks, almost all my great guns, and these 2 handgunner units are going to be targeting your steam tank, and my goal is to hit your high value targets as soon as possible. You are, on the other hand, targeting my infantry blobs, so we're kind of targeting each other's advantage, and we'll see kind of who wins out in the end. But oh man, your steam tank is taking a beating.
Really low right now. Yeah, it's gonna be about one more cannon shot to take down this first steam tank, which is a problem because I really want these guys to stay alive. Once they get into melee combat, they can do a ton of damage, and of course they have a lot of firepower from range, but it's gonna blow up right there, and some of my handgunners are gonna take some of that cannon fire as well. So my Hellstorm rocket battery is still on anti-battery duty, still trying to take out his great cannons, get rid of those range capabilities. You see some of the cannons have already gotten blown up and silenced those guns, but over on this side, my Hellstorm rocket battery is going for some of his blobbed up handgunners, and we're just trying to do as much damage as possible before the handgunners from Oakley get into range and start this line battle strong.
Yeah, and my left flank has now deployed. I pulled up my 4 columns of infantry. The center is now pushing up as well, so I'm sending the general order to advance. I also brought 2, there is kind of 1 general's unit and then an officer. So I have 2 heroes, so to speak, and so they're going to be reinforcing my ranks as I push up. On the right, I'm attempting a cavalry assault, but it is going to go very much like World War I cavalry assaults went. I'm just going to get shot to tiny little pieces, and there goes the glory of the Imperial Knights right there.
It is so brutal, dude.
And just panning along the center of the battlefield is freaking amazing.
I really love what they did with the Hellstorm rocket battery. It's really satisfying to listen to and watch, just like all these explosions, all this firepower coming in. Just looks so impressive. And I've really done a good job so far of taking out the batteries right here, the great cannons, but the problem is he still has 2 steam tanks on the field, and one of my tanks has already gone down. I haven't done much HP damage to the steam tank at all, actually. It's only down to about only taking about 1/4 HP. His handgunners are moving up. He's got some double line fire going. I've routed 2 of his handgunners, but he has more fire coming in from the trees. And this is going to be a really brutal line battle, Civil War style right now.
Yeah, this is so cool. And what I was doing at this point was focusing fire against your units. So I think you're getting general damage done to me, but I'm trying to pick off your units from the right moving forward. And you can see your line just getting whittled away. You bring Outriders Napoleon style to try and reinforce the ranks. But I'm going to start focusing some of my cannon fire to take out your artillery pieces, and having my captain nearby to rally the men is definitely paying off.
Yeah, and then your steam tank is moving up now. I think you wanted to get into melee at this point, start using that steam gun. Yeah, steam cannon is shooting in now. I don't know how much actual damage it does. I think it only killed a couple models there, but I do have that double line fire going on with my riders and my handgunners. It's nice to be
the far left, actually, I'm closing in with some of my cavalry units to swing back around this flank. So Outriders have shot into the flank of your force because we're kind of trading flanks. On the left, you were able to push me back, but now I've reinforced with steam tanks. In the center, I have a pistolier force going to be just charging your main line. So we'll see how this goes. We both have tons and tons of supporting ranks of infantry, so it is chaos being traded. But I think having 2 steam tanks with pretty high health on the right flank is going to be helping me a lot. But on the left, you're totally surrounding my troops. The Hellfire rockets doing a lot to whittle away my forces. I don't have much left, and the terrain is definitely helping me out.
Yeah, withering fire coming from this hill in the center, trying to get him pushed back in the center of the field there, and I'm definitely winning over on my left flank. I have a lot of Outriders and my handgunners moving up. I wanted to just push my advantage over here because I do have more troops, but if I'm going to push this advantage, I have to push it hard. I have to make sure I wipe out these troops very quickly, and then maybe, if possible, wrap around and get into his rear. That would be difficult, but I do have the manpower over on this side. What that means, though, is that in the center and over on my right flank, you're definitely going to start taking advantage because you have the steam tank moving in there and a bunch of the handgunners in the center just routing a lot of my guys.
And I'm trying to push in on your gun positions. Like, the high water mark of my steam tank was right in front of your great cannons, and so I'm having a hard time pushing through there. The closer you get, the more accurate you end up being. But in the center, I am doing a little bit of an advantage. The masses of my troops really paying off, and now I'm going to have a big surge. Towards the center, I'm charging forward with lots of ranks, and coming out of the forest in the middle, I have 3 more handgunners coming in. So I'm going for the mass push at this point. The whistles have blown up over the trenches, and here we go.
Yeah, so in the center, this is going to start being really brutal for me. You've got double line fire going. You do have this one unit that's, I don't know if you click a movement order or what, but they're going to get mowed down right in front of my lines and then rout. But those 2 handgunners up on the hill are going to be a problem for me. I no longer have the firepower in the center to get them off and dislodge them. And my artillery pieces are starting to become a little bit exposed. If you push really hard in the center, you could probably just get to the guns right off the bat. And then, of course...
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I mean, you pointed out to that. Like, those 2 units I pushed up were pretty exhausted at this point and low health anyways. And you'll notice my guys that are firing away had been previously ranked up to triple silver chevrons. So that's why I want to give them covering fire, because I knew they would be able to just destroy you if I could keep them safe.
Well, yeah, so the thing with range units with chevrons and range units is that it gives them like morale and melee attack and stuff, so they don't actually get buffs to range damage, but the extra morale can actually be really beneficial in these line battles. It makes them stay in the fight a lot longer, and if they're not routing, that means they're firing, and if they're firing, they're taking down their men. So it's definitely not a bad thing to have some extra gold go towards chevrons. My right flank is really crumbling at this point. You're pushing up now. I did manage to take out your steam tank a while ago. Did I take out both already? Oh, yeah, your other steam tank.
No, my other one he's kind of been bouncing back.
Yeah,
so having the steam tank is definitely beneficial to kind of shore up either flanks. So you see them ping-pong. But my right side is getting absolutely thrashed by concentrated artillery fire. This position is not going to hold, which is why I swung that steam tank over here.
I'm getting some really good volleys off on the right-hand side, but yeah, the steam tank is going to change the balance of power over here a bit. It's going to be really hard to push up with the steam tank running in. I can't actually move up my handgunners because you'll just run me over with the steam tank. So I do have my Outriders shooting in, trying to do some HP damage to the steam tank there, but in the center I've got some double line, actually at this point I have triple line fire going in now, but your charge from the Empire Captain up the center is coming right now.
Yeah, but it looks like you're going to be sending your own general as well. to try and countercharge me. So my guy was sent in there to tie up her lines because I know I need to get the advantage, retain the advantage with my handgunners, because look how much artillery fire is coming in. So we're both going to commit. But like I said earlier on in this commentary, I have 2 hero characters and you only have 1, so I can effectively tie yours up like this without running too much of a risk of mass routes. And now my gunners in the kind of right behind this engagement are going to be firing straight into your lord.
Yeah, and that's a almost full strength handgunner unit. They've taken a lot of HP damage, and now they're starting to drop models, but before that volley, they were around 75 men in a unit. So every time they fire, they're going to be doing a lot of damage. I am beating your Empire Captain, but like you said, this is something you can afford to lose. It's not your general. It's just a hero unit tying down my stuff, tying down one of my gunners and my lord, and that's going to be a problem. So I am now committing my steam tank into melee, and I didn't get there in time. It's going to get blown up by a volley from the handgunners. So my steam tanks, both of them, are dead at this point, and I've at this point run out of a lot of my artillery crews ammo. So I'm now sending in a bunch of Hellstorm rocket battery crews into melee with handgunners just to tie them down, hopefully take some models off before they rout from the field.
Yeah, and it's getting pretty desperate. So on the right flank, I've lost everything except for my steam tank. That's now getting focused on by all of your gunners. But it doesn't matter. You know, I'm tying up so many of your guys, and now I'm just going to run through them. Going straight straight through.
Oh my god, he's teabagging some of my dudes. Your steam tank was just teabagging my handgunners. It's so messed up.
So one of my units is occupying about like a dozen of yours, it seems. In the center, I'm pushing hard. I only have, I think, 1 gun crew left with just, you know, a skeleton crew on it. I did withdraw my kind of officer because he's being pursued by your general, who has better HP and had better supporting fire. So I'm going to pull out of there and just now start to concentrate fire with this little hill that I've secured on your side of the battlefield and try and shoot away at him. And so we've traded flanks, and now it's going to be the time where we reposition, perhaps try and face off. My steam tank somehow managed to pull out of there. The war machine getting out of there with a couple units falling after him. We'll see if he escapes with his life, though. And I have pretty much shattered your left flank, but or sorry, your right flank, but they will start to come back here soon.
Yeah, and I have 1 cannon, great cannon, still firing, but they're almost out of ammunition. You can see, I think we've got 1 shot left. Your steam tank did manage to break through, but it will soon join the graveyard of the rest of the machines on this battlefield, the 2 other steam tanks. I think it's going to be like 1 more volley, and it'll bring down this final war machine, I would think. Well, let's see what its HP is. Yeah, it's at 139 HP. I think 1 more volley from the Outriders should be able to kill them, so we'll see if we can catch that. But yeah, you're trying to get into a flanking position, maybe try to silence my guns. And then this last volley coming in now. Come on, just blow it up. It's so low.
He's almost out of there. He's like sparking. He's in the sunlight
there
now.
We go. Boom.
Ooh, and just as he crosses
and
into
he will join his brothers.
With the Outriders charging glorious behind. So that's kind of funny. They hunted their metal prey. So yeah, I think the choice for me to bring 2 heroes was really a good idea here at the end. Because I have one of my heroes, my general, actually with almost no damage done, and now he's charging your gun crews, and it's really hard to take out the heroes with what you have left, and anything you devote to shooting him allows my gunners to do more and more damage. Meanwhile, your general is, you know, caught in a fight with my own officer, the Empire Captain, with supporting fire on my end, so it's going to be kind of to my advantage here.
Yeah, pretty soon I'm going to pop Stand Your Ground and a bunch of the Lord Commander's buffs. Hopefully try to beat this Empire Captain, which he should be able to do once I got all my buffs going. But you're going to quickly be able to reinforce with some of these routing handgunners once they stop routing. And in the center, you do have more full-strength handgunners. So at this point, I'm committing Hellstorm rocket battery crews. I have very few handgunners at this point, and the extra handgunners you did bring to the field are going to end up being pretty big in this late game because I lost all my guys. I have to commit these really crappy melee troops into melee, and I have so
they're literally running up to me and trying to kick me.
So my lord is really low at this point. He's wavering. He's like 1 hit from killing the Empire Captain, but with the shots coming in from that handgunner unit, only 22 guys left still firing in. He is going to run from the field. I think he might drop to this withering fire coming in now. He's got 336 HP, which means 1 or 2 more volleys will be the end of him. In the center, your handgunners are still holding strong, beating back my Hellstorm rocket battery crews.
Yeah,
we'll see if they can beat them.
It feels like a crazy battle where now I only have 2 remaining handgunner units on this little hill that I've managed to claim. You've charged me on all flanks. I'm tied down, and now here you come with more just grunts thrown into the battle to try and tie me down. We'll see how that works. But in the
My
distance,
lord
I
went
do
down.
have. I see. But in the distance, I do have my own captain, continuing to tie up your gunners and other units that could otherwise be joining the charge. So that's kind of what's helping me here.
And that's gonna be it. So I tried to commit some of my gun crews, and they routed from the field. And Oakley's extra handgunner crews did end up being the difference in that battle. I think maybe the biggest turning point. Okay, there were two big turning points. I think bringing the extra hero unit, like you said, let you tie down some of my more important troops and kill them in melee when I wasn't able to really reinforce them very well because I don't have melee troops. And then the other was taking out my steam tank. My first one very early before they ended up being able to do very much damage. So you kind of just overwhelmed me in the center, and without that steam tank support, I ended up crumbling. It was really close though, and really epic. So many explosions, so many handgunners and gunpowder units going off. Really fun battle.
Yeah, I think your mass Hellstorm rocket battery play was working really well. Like it chewed away all of my troops, and had you just hidden your steam tanks a little better, or kept them out of the focus fire that I had, then they could have rebuffed my advances and my suicidal charges down the center. You know, steam tank could have flattened my charges easily, but because there was nothing really there to push me back, I could just steamroll you, yeah, with a lot of losses, but I had just enough critical mass to push it up over the end, claim this hill, and then start sending in my captains to tie you down and do damage. And then obviously having, you know, free reign steam tanks is beneficial, like Indy said.
Yeah. So we ended up deploying almost the exact same number of troops, 2753 to 2742. Kills very similar. I did end up killing more of Oakley's when my guys routed after my lord died. Got a little bit hasty with him there at the end of the battle, trying to get rid of your Empire captain, which was really not the engagement I should have been looking for, because killing that Empire captain, besides just tying him down and making sure he doesn't get into my handgunners, doesn't do anything. If I kill him, it's not going to send a morale penalty jolting through your line or anything. So that wasn't really the play either, but ended up being so close, so much carnage, and these Civil War battles are so much fun to play with the Empire on this game. We were looking for some mods that would give us like Mindenheim or Wissenland or some of the other Empire provinces, so it wasn't just going to be a Reichland Civil War. But ultimately, it ended up being an awesome battle. Definitely try it out if you haven't already. And I really enjoyed it.
You know what I just realized? Actually, looking at the unit count, I actually have the exact same number of handgunners as you. So that whole time,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's just my Empire captain is in there. So actually, what I had more than anything else was just pistoliers. So I had two more cavalry units than you, which ended up being kind of worthless. So
Yeah, your
that's
pistoliers didn't
there.
really do anything. So I think it was your steam tanks and the
Yeah, it was
captain
my steam
itself that
tanks
ended up
and the
being
fact that, yes, maybe we had the same number of infantry, but because I didn't spend all my money on the Hellstorm rocket batteries, I had spare funds to spend. Well, that's redundant. I had spare money to spend on troops, and what I did is I invested them a lot into some of my handgunners. So the ones that were all, you know, shoved up to silver, shoved up to triple bronze, and then my steam tanks had experience, and same with my outriders. So kind of pound for pound, my infantry hit a bit harder than yours, or at least had more sustain. So in that sense, I guess I had the infantry advantage.
Yeah, and each one of those handgunners that has silver chevrons is going to have 6 more base leadership than a non-cheved handgunner. So that could absolutely be the difference between getting another volley off and routing. So that probably did play a part in it as well. But I also like having all those Hellstorm rocket batteries. It meant I outranged you in the gun crew fight, and it meant that you had to come to me. So either way, really fun battle, lots of explosions, very cinematic. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be doing more content like this together very soon. Definitely make sure you check out Oakley's channel, and I'll link that in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, peace out.